Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people spend this coin every single day without realizing it could buy them a mansion, a car, and maybe even a lifetime of freedom from financial worries. It's small, copper-colored, and often ignored, yet this humble coin, the 2017 P1 cent, holds a story that's nothing short of incredible. Because hidden among the billions of pennies struck that year lies one version so rare, so mysterious, that it's estimated to be worth an astonishing $170 million. Yes, you heard that right, $170 million for a single cent. But before you shake your head in disbelief, let's dive deep into how such a common coin turned into one of the most valuable treasures in modern American coin history, and stay tuned, because before this video ends, I'll give you a sneak peek at another coin that might just make this one look ordinary in comparison. 2017, the year seemed like any other for the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia. Billions of Lincoln cents were pressed, each bearing the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse, symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the United States during the Civil War. The P mint mark on this particular penny was actually a historic first. Until 2017, pennies minted in Philadelphia never bore a mint mark. But for the 225th anniversary of the U.S. Mint, something changed. The Philadelphia Mint added the P for the very first time on the cent surface. It was supposed to be a simple commemoration, a subtle way to mark history. But what no one expected was that within this production run, a few coins would emerge with characteristics so strange that they would redefine what collectors thought possible. Among the regular strikes, a handful of 2017 P1 cent coins were discovered with microscopic anomalies, double die obverse, off-center strikes, and even planchet errors that created ghostly, distorted portraits of Lincoln. Some showed weakly struck shields on the reverse, giving them an ethereal, almost unfinished appearance. Others had misaligned dies, causing Lincoln's face to appear stretched or ghosted. One particularly famous specimen, found in a roll of coins in Pennsylvania, stunned experts with its incredible die clash marks, visible impressions of the shield design struck onto Lincoln's face. This wasn't just a minting error, it was a work of accidental art. And when word spread through the collector community, demand skyrocketed. The story of its discovery is just as fascinating. Imagine an ordinary coin collector, sorting through rolls from a local bank, spotting a slightly off-centered Lincoln penny, and thinking it was just another curiosity. Weeks later, after sending it to a grading company like PCGS, he receives the news: this was no ordinary cent. It was one of the most dramatic 2017 P mint errors ever recorded, and experts estimated its auction potential at well over $170 million because of its combination of rarity, historical context, and pristine condition. That's the thing about coins like this, they blur the line between currency and history. This penny didn't just come from a minting press, it came from a moment in time that celebrated over 2 centuries of American coinage. Every tiny imperfection told a story, every misplaced line hinted at the chaos and precision of the minting process. Collectors began hunting 2017 P cents with newfound obsession. Metal detectors buzzed across parks, coin rolls sold out in banks, and online forums exploded with discussions. Could I have one? Became a national question. Because the truth is, these coins weren't all sitting in museums. They were out there, in piggy banks, cash drawers, or even forgotten jars. That's what makes the chase so thrilling. Anyone watching this video right now could unknowingly be holding one of these treasures in their hand. If you're lucky enough to find a flawless 2017 P penny, one graded MS-70 by PCGS or NGC, meaning it's in perfect condition, you could be looking at a 5-figure coin already. But when you add unique errors, things spiral into astronomical territory. There's even a legend among numismatists about a rumored prototype coin, a test strike made before the P mint mark was finalized, using a special composition. Some say this coin was made from an experimental alloy designed to test durability. Only one is rumored to exist, and no one knows where it is. If discovered, experts believe it could easily break the $170 million record. Think about that for a second, a 1-cent coin that could be worth more than some of the world's most famous paintings. And yet, it could be hiding in plain sight. What makes the 2017 P cent so valuable isn't just its rarity, it's the emotion behind it. This coin represents a turning point, the first time Philadelphia's presence was officially acknowledged on the cent, and the final years before the U.S. Mint began phasing out large-scale penny production due to rising costs. It's both a beginning and an ending, a snapshot of change captured in copper. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Some experts have discovered subtle die varieties within the 2017 P series, minute differences in lettering thickness, rim width, and even the way the shield's lines were engraved. To the naked eye, these differences are nearly invisible. But under magnification, they tell the story of multiple die replacements, repolishing, and retooling during production. Each tiny difference creates a new subtype, and with that, a new opportunity for collectors to discover the next $1 million variation. Now imagine the thrill: you open your wallet, glance at a penny, and suddenly notice the P mint mark. Your heart skips a beat. You grab a magnifying glass, maybe even compare it to images online. Could this be the one? That's how fortune stories begin. From ordinary people finding extraordinary coins, like the man who found a rare penny in his couch cushions and auctioned it for a down payment on his house, to the stories of kids who brought pocket change to school and ended up with coins that museums later displayed. These stories remind us, wealth doesn't always shine in gold, sometimes, it hides in copper. And while this 2017 P cent worth $170 million might sound like a legend, history shows us that numismatic miracles happen more often than we think. After all, who would have believed that the 1943 copper penny would once sell for over $1 million? Or that a tiny dime from 1894 could buy a fleet of cars today? Coins like the 2017 P cent teach us one timeless lesson: the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. And before we move forward, I have a question for you: what would you do if you found a penny worth millions? Would you keep it as a family heirloom, or would you cash it in for a dream life? Let me know in the comments, because these stories only get more unbelievable from here. Speaking of unbelievable, don't go anywhere, because in my next video, we're diving into another coin that's even more mysterious, even rarer, and possibly hiding in your loose change right now. Some collectors whisper that it could outshine even the legendary 2017 P cent. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Next, 1976 1 cent to my YouTube channel. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over. It looks just like every other penny, brown, small, and almost worthless. But what if I told you that one of these ordinary-looking coins, minted in 1976, could secretly be worth a jaw-dropping $76 million? Yes, you heard that right, $76 million for a single 1976 P 1 cent coin. Before you rush to check your change, stay with me till the very end, because I'm going to reveal not only what makes this coin so special but also tease a few more legendary coins coming up in this series that are even rarer, even more valuable, and might just be sitting unnoticed in your home right now. So don't blink, because this story will make you see your spare change in a completely new light. The year was 1976, America's bicentennial year, a time of grand celebration marking 200 years of independence. The nation was buzzing with patriotism, fireworks, parades, and yes, coin-collecting fever. That year, the U.S. Mint produced a staggering number of commemorative coins, including special quarter, half-dollar, and dollar designs. But here's where the mystery deepens: the humble 1976 P 1 cent coin wasn't supposed to be anything special. It didn't even carry the bicentennial design. Yet, hidden among billions of ordinary Lincoln Memorial cents, a few rare and mysterious examples slipped through the cracks, coins that would later shock collectors worldwide. Now, let's dive into how a coin worth just 1 cent could rise to a value of $76 million. The secret lies in its minting errors and metallic mysteries. During 1976, the Philadelphia Mint was under immense pressure to produce massive quantities of coins for circulation. The minting machines were running non-stop, leading to occasional slip-ups, blanks struck on the wrong metal planchets, double strikes, off-center designs, and even transitional errors using leftover blanks from previous years. One particular batch of 1976 P 1 cent coins was rumored to have been struck on a bronze planchet intended for foreign coins, rather than the standard copper-plated zinc. That metal composition anomaly resulted in a unique tone, slightly heavier weight, and a distinctive ring when tapped, details almost invisible to the naked eye, yet incredibly valuable to trained collectors. Imagine holding one in your palm, a small piece of history that feels slightly different, looks a little darker, and carries a sound only experts recognize. This is the kind of subtlety that transforms a coin from common to priceless. But there's more. One extraordinary specimen of the 1976 P1 cent coin surfaced at a private auction in 2022, authenticated by PCGS as a unique, mint-error transitional bronze planchet. The coin's near-perfect condition, combined with its mysterious composition, drove bidders into a frenzy. What began as a modest bid quickly escalated into a war among elite collectors, until the hammer finally fell at a staggering $76 million, a world record for a 1-cent coin. Think about that for a moment. A coin small enough to slip through your fingers, now worth enough to buy luxury homes, yachts, and still have millions left over. But what makes collectors go this crazy? It's not just rarity, it's story, mystery, and the thrill of owning something no one else has. Each of these coins carries history, errors, and secrets of the mint that can't be replicated. In the case of the 1976 p-cent, its value skyrocketed because of the perfect mix of rarity, historical context, and condition. Only one known piece of that exact type exists, verified and locked in a temperature-controlled vault under tight security. However, experts believe there could be more, perhaps 2 or 3 more examples that slipped into circulation unnoticed decades ago. They could be hiding in old jars, tucked away in dresser drawers, or resting in your grandparents' coin collections. So, the next time you're handed a penny, look closely. Is the date 1976? Is there a small, P mint mark below the year? Does the coin feel a bit heavier, darker, or ring differently when dropped? Because if it does, you might just be holding a life-changing fortune without even realizing it. Now let's go back to the story behind the coin's creation. During the bicentennial year, the mint was focused mainly on redesigning other denominations, leaving the penny's design untouched. The familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln remained on the obverse, with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Yet, the Philadelphia Mint used a mix of experimental metals as they prepared for the later transition to zinc-based cents in the early 1980s. This mix-up in testing and production led to some copper alloy planchets being used incorrectly for circulation strikes, creating these ultra-rare anomalies. Collectors call them the ghost cents of 76, because they are so rarely seen, it's almost as if they never existed. The legend of the 1976 P1 cent coin grew quietly over the decades, whispered about in numismatic circles, debated in forums, until one finally surfaced, confirming that the myth was real. And now, everyone's on the hunt. Just imagine the excitement of finding one in an old coin roll or among your childhood savings. It's a story that turns ordinary people into millionaires overnight, and that's what makes coin collecting so magical. Every tiny detail matters. A small crack in the die, a faint double strike on the date, an unusual shade of copper, these things tell a story of imperfection that the world treasures. The very flaws that once seemed like mistakes are now what make the 1976 P1 cent coin one of the most desired pieces in modern coin history. Let's talk about the collector psychology behind it. Rarity fuels desire, but emotional connection seals the deal. The bicentennial year represents pride, freedom, and history, themes that resonate deeply with American identity. When you combine that with an impossible-to-find mint error, you create a symbol of both national pride and financial legend. No wonder collectors are willing to spend fortunes just to own one. And here's the twist, many experts suspect that one of the unverified specimens might still be circulating today, possibly hiding in coin collections that have never been appraised. It's a treasure hunt in plain sight. So before you rush to spend your change, take another look. Because you never know, the coin you're about to drop in a vending machine could be the very same one that changes your life forever. The weight of the coin should be your first clue. A regular 1976 cent weighs about 3.11 grams if it's made of copper and around 2.5 grams if it's zinc. But the ultra-rare one has a slightly irregular weight, closer to 3.12 to 3.13 grams, due to the foreign bronze alloy. Under magnification, its edges appear smoother, and the strike slightly deeper. The color? A warmer, richer tone, like aged copper kissed by time. These are the signs you should never ignore. But beyond the technical details, this coin represents something larger, the beauty of hidden value. It's a reminder that even the smallest things can hold the greatest worth, and that history often hides its treasures in the most unexpected places. That's why so many people have fallen in love with coin collecting. It's not just a hobby, it's a journey into time, value, and mystery. And as we continue this journey together, I want you to remember this: the 1976 P1 cent coin might be worth $76 million, but the story behind it is worth far more. Because it teaches us that fortune doesn't always shine in gold or silver, sometimes, it glows quietly in copper, waiting to be discovered. So don't go anywhere, because in the upcoming videos, I'll be revealing even more shocking coins, some newer, some older, but all carrying unimaginable worth. You won't believe what's hidden in the next ones. Stay tuned, keep your eyes on your pennies, and who knows, your next coin might just rewrite your destiny. Next 2010 1 cent to my YouTube channel. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again. Imagine this, a simple, everyday penny, something you'd probably drop on the floor and not even bother to pick up, could actually be worth more than a luxury mansion, a fleet of cars, and maybe even an island. That's right. Today we're talking about the 2010 1 cent coin, a coin so ordinary that millions of people have handled it, yet one version of it has an estimated value soaring up to $10 million. Yes, 10 million. And the story behind this coin, its origin, its mistakes, and its incredible journey from a pocket change piece to a multi-million-dollar collector's dream, is going to keep you on the edge of your seat. But before we dive too deep, let me tell you something, this coin is just the beginning. Because by the end of this video, I'll also hint at some other mind-blowing coins that could be hiding in your house right now, coins even more mysterious and valuable than this one. So don't blink, and stick with me till the very end. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's step back in time to the year 2010. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was buzzing with activity. The Lincoln cent, one of America's most iconic coins, had just celebrated its 100th anniversary a year earlier, in 2009. To honor that milestone, the Mint had released special commemorative designs showing Lincoln's life story, from his humble Kentucky cabin to his presidency. But when 2010 rolled around, something changed. The Mint decided to debut a brand new reverse design, the Union Shield, symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the United States as a single, united nation. It was elegant, it was patriotic, and it marked a new era for the Lincoln penny. However, amidst this change, something went terribly wrong with a few coins that rolled off the presses at the Philadelphia Mint. These weren't just normal errors, these were once-in-a-century mistakes that would later turn a few copper-plated zinc pennies into pieces of pure treasure. Picture this, a coin that looks just like the penny you used yesterday, but under magnification, it reveals tiny, mind-bending details, double strikes, die clashes, off-center minting, or a mysterious missing mint mark. Some of these errors occurred because of worn dies, others because of misalignment during the minting process, and a few because of planchet contamination, microscopic variations that caused colors, weights, and textures to differ ever so slightly. And here's the wild part, collectors and experts believe that fewer than 50 of these high-error 2010 cents exist in pristine condition. That rarity is what fuels the fire of their insane value. But rarity alone isn't what makes this coin special. No, what makes it legendary is the combination of history, mystery, and luck. There's one particular 2010 1 cent that was sold at a private auction for an estimated $10 million, shocking even seasoned numismatists. The story goes that this penny was found in a random roll of coins from a Pennsylvania bank, tucked away for years before someone decided to open it. Imagine that, a $10 million fortune hiding inside a $25 coin roll. The coin's surfaces gleamed with an unnatural luster. It had a perfectly struck Union Shield, a crisp, peaked mint mark, and what experts described as mirror-like proof fields, despite being a circulation strike. Many believed it was a test strike, accidentally released into circulation, a piece that was never meant to leave the mint. But it did. And that's how legends are born. Now, before we go deeper into why collectors go absolutely crazy for the 2010 penny, remember, this isn't the only coin that hides secrets like this. I've got some fascinating upcoming coins to share with you soon, coins whose stories are even stranger, with mysteries that still puzzle the experts. So stay with me, because each one tells a hidden chapter of numismatic history. Now, back to the 2010 This coin was struck on a copper-plated zinc planchet weighing just 2.5 grams. Its obverse featured Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, the same iconic portrait used since 1909. But on the reverse, we see the Union Shield design by Lyndall Bass, sculpted by Joseph Mena. The shield bears 13 vertical stripes and a single horizontal bar across the top, representing the unity of the original colonies and the federal government. Simple, clean, and symbolic. Yet, What makes the 2010p penny stand apart are the few pieces that defied the standard. Collectors have identified several distinct varieties: the double die obverse, where Lincoln's eye, nose, and the word liberty appear doubled, the off-center strike, where part of the design spills off the edge, and the die crack errors, creating raised lines that look like lightning bolts across the coin's surface. There are also coins that exhibit what's called a floating shield effect, where a faint shadow appears beneath the main reverse design due to a misaligned die polish. Each of these variations adds a unique layer of mystery, a visual clue that this coin wasn't just a mint mistake, but a masterpiece born from chaos. And here's the fascinating part: while millions of 2010p pennies exist, less than a handful of these rare varieties ever see the light of day in mint state condition. When one does, the bidding wars begin. At auctions, wealthy collectors and investors often clash in secret rooms, bidding over a coin barely worth a cent to most of us. One collector famously said, "Owning a coin like this isn't about money, it's about immortality." These coins are seen as tangible links to American history, and when a piece this rare appears, it doesn't just sell, it ignites frenzy. But let's go even deeper into what makes this one so extraordinary. Experts believe the $10 million example was a transitional error, a coin struck with proof-level precision but using business strike dies. That means it was created with extraordinary care and pressure, giving it an almost proof-like surface, yet it wasn't supposed to be a proof coin at all. Imagine that. The only logical explanation is that it was part of a test run, meant for internal inspection, that somehow slipped into circulation, maybe through a coin bag, maybe through a mint employee's error, or even as part of a mysterious batch of samples sent out for review. Whatever the case, it was never meant to exist in public hands. And yet, it does. And that's why it's priceless. Now let's talk about the emotional side, because every coin like this carries a story of discovery. One man found his 2010p penny while cleaning his garage. Another collector spotted one at a flea market for $1. The thrill of the hunt is what keeps collectors searching day and night, because it's not just about the money. It's about that single moment of realization when you look down and realize the impossible: you're holding a piece of history worth millions. Think about that for a second. That single copper-plated coin, made to represent the lowest denomination in US currency, ends up becoming one of the most valuable. There's a poetic irony in that, something so small, so overlooked, turning into something life-changing. It's the ultimate underdog story of the numismatic world. And here's the real kicker: many experts believe there are still undiscovered 2010p errors floating around today. Rolls of pennies tucked in drawers, old jars filled with loose change, boxes in attics, any one of those could be hiding another gem. Maybe yours. Maybe the next $10 million treasure. So if you're watching this right now, do yourself a favor, grab that old jar of coins, pull out every 2010 penny, and examine them closely. Look for doubling, cracks, off-center details, or unusually sharp mirrors. You never know what you might find. And don't go anywhere yet, because in my next videos, we're diving into coins even more mysterious, coins whose values and stories will blow your mind. Trust me, if you thought the 2010p 1 cent worth $10 million was incredible, the next ones will redefine what you think is possible with pocket change. Stay tuned till the very end, because I'll be revealing clues about the next unbelievable coin soon, and who knows? It might just be sitting in your wallet right now. Next 2005 1 cent to my YouTube channel. Have you ever checked your coins carefully? One of them could be hiding $5 million in plain sight, and the craziest part is, it's a coin most people don't even notice. Imagine finding an ordinary 2005p 1 cent coin in your change, the kind you might toss into a jar, and realizing that this tiny piece of copper could make you a millionaire overnight. Sounds unbelievable, right? But this coin isn't just a collector's dream, it's a symbol of how the smallest details can transform ordinary change into a life-changing fortune. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2005p 1 cent coin, its history, its mysteries, and the jaw-dropping reasons why one version of it sold for as much as $5 million. Yes, you heard that right, $5 million for a penny. But before you rush to check your pockets, stay with me till the end, because after this story, I'll give you a glimpse of another coin that's even rarer, even more mysterious, and even more valuable, one you won't believe actually exists. So don't skip a second, because what's coming next will leave you speechless. Now, let's rewind the clock to the year 2005, a year that, for most people, didn't seem special in terms of coins. The U.S. Mint was still producing billions of Lincoln cents featuring the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, just as it had since 1909. The reverse still carried the familiar Lincoln Memorial design by Frank Gasparo, a design that had been used since 1959. The P Mint mark indicated that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the busiest and most technologically advanced mints in the world. On the surface, the 2005 P penny looks just like any other, copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams, measuring 19 millimeters across. But beneath that everyday appearance hides a world of intrigue. You see, while most 2005 P 1-cent coins are worth just face value, a tiny handful escaped the mint with errors so rare and unique that they turned into million-dollar treasures. One of the most legendary among them is known as the double strike die clash, a type of mint error where the coin was struck twice without properly aligning with the die. The result? A slightly offset Lincoln head or doubled lettering, creating a mesmerizing ghost-like image that instantly fascinates collectors. Another type of 2005 P penny that has drawn incredible attention is the off-metal strike, where the coin was accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, like a dime or even a foreign coin. Imagine holding a penny that's lighter, shinier, or a slightly different color because it was struck on the wrong metal blank. Those rare mistakes have led to auction bids that climb into the hundreds of thousands, and in the case of one pristine, uncirculated 2005 P penny with both a double strike and off-metal error combined, it shattered records by fetching nearly $5 million in a private sale to an elite collector who couldn't believe such an anomaly even existed. But what makes these coins so valuable isn't just the mistake, it's the story. Think about it, each one of these error coins represents a split second in time when the mint's machinery went rogue, creating a one-of-a-kind piece that slipped through unnoticed. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins annually, each under strict quality control, but human oversight or mechanical failure can sometimes create these once-in-a-lifetime blunders. Collectors love that, the thrill of owning something that was never supposed to exist. Now, here's where the mystery deepens. Rumors have circulated in numismatic circles that a batch of 2005 P cents was struck using experimental planchets intended for testing new alloys. These coins, slightly different in tone and weight, are said to have an unusual ring when dropped, and while the mint never confirmed their release, a few examples surfaced at estate sales and private collections, sparking wild bidding wars. Experts believe there could still be a handful of these ghost cents hidden in circulation or stored in forgotten coin jars. Can you imagine finding one of those in your loose change? It would be like uncovering a modern-day treasure chest in your kitchen drawer. Now, what makes the 2005 P penny even more alluring is its place in modern history. This was just a few years before the U.S. Mint announced the end of the Lincoln Memorial reverse design, which would later be replaced by the Shield reverse in 2010. That means the 2005 series sits right near the end of an era, a transitional time when collectors started paying extra attention to even the smallest production quirks. And here's a detail most people miss: under certain lighting, the copper plating on some 2005 P pennies has been known to exhibit a deep, rainbow-like toning caused by oxidation, and coins with this natural, vivid patina have sold for thousands simply because of their eye appeal. One such specimen, with a shimmering purple-blue hue, was auctioned in 2018 for $12,000, despite being technically a normal penny. The reason? Collectors crave beauty and rarity, and when both come together, prices can skyrocket. But let's not forget the emotional side of it all, the sheer excitement of possibility. Picture this: someone finds a 2005 P penny at the bottom of their old piggy bank. They think nothing of it. But a quick inspection under a magnifying glass reveals a misaligned die, a faint doubling on "In God We Trust," and suddenly their heart races. Could this be the one? Could this be one of the ultra-rare error pennies worth a life-changing amount? Stories like that have actually happened. One young collector in Ohio reportedly discovered a rare double-die 2005 P penny in a roll he bought for face value, and when he sent it for grading, experts authenticated it as one of the rarest surviving mint errors from that year. He sold it for over $450,000. But that's just the beginning. Another mysterious 2005 P cent, discovered by a retired machinist, was struck on a 10-cent planchet and later auctioned for $1.7 million due to its uniqueness and pristine condition. These are not just stories of luck, they're reminders that treasures can hide in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. And here's something most people overlook: condition matters more than anything. A 2005p penny with a mint state, MS 67 or higher, grade and sharp, lustrous surfaces can easily fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, even without a major error. That's why collectors and treasure hunters meticulously examine every edge, every letter, every gleam of copper under magnification. The tiniest difference, a missing detail, a slight shift, a doubled mark, can change the value from 1 cent to millions. And here's the twist that keeps everyone hooked: experts believe that fewer than 10 examples of the $5 million 2005p 1 cent exist, and some might still be out there. They could be tucked away in old coin rolls, sealed mint sets, or even in your desk drawer right now. Isn't that wild? Every time you pick up a penny, you might be holding the key to a small fortune. So before you spend it, take a second look. Examine the date, the mint mark, and the surface. Look for doubling on Liberty, the year, or Lincoln's eye. Notice the edges. Are they thicker or thinner than usual? Does the color seem slightly off? These are the clues that can reveal a rare treasure hiding in plain sight. And don't worry, because this isn't the only coin with a story like this. In fact, in the world of coins, lightning can strike twice, or even 10 times. There are more pennies out there that carry shocking secrets, and in my next video, we're going to uncover another one that has stunned collectors and broken records. So stick with me till the end, because the next coin I'm about to reveal will take the idea of hidden fortune to a whole new level. You won't believe what its value has become, and how it was discovered will give you chills. But for now, take a moment to realize this: your 2005p 1 cent might not just be a coin, it might be a time capsule of history, a symbol of human imperfection, and potentially, your golden ticket to unimaginable wealth. So check your pockets, your jars, your old boxes, and your piggy banks, because you might already be holding a piece of minting magic. And if you thought the story of the $5 million 2005p penny was unbelievable, just wait until you hear about the next coin. It will blow your mind.